Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, threats made on the campuses of Victoria East and Goliad High Schools. Victoria police arrest a suspect on charges of assault. And an elementary school student fires a gun on a Seguin school bus.
Well, it was nice with a little break in the cloud cover and, of course, in the temperature, but guess what? That's over. We're going back to the hundreds, and we'll be talking about the heat and humidity for the weekend coming up in a moment.
And the Victoria Gators got their juices pumping for the season opener with a pep rally. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the night off. This afternoon, just before 2 o'clock, local authorities responded to Victoria East High School. The Victoria County Sheriff's Office says authorities were responding to threats made by telephone. The call was a hoax. The Victoria ISD reported there was no threat to anyone or to the campus, but, quote, out of an abundance of caution, law enforcement was on campus, unquote.
Victoria 911 received a call of a possible suspect on campus that supposedly had a rifle and a pipe bomb with him. A little bit of investigation into it. This appears to be a number that's been used before. It's kind of a spoof number. Several months ago, as well as in possibly today in another county. I visited with the Texas Rangers as well, and they're going to kind of somewhat assist with this investigation.
Authorities say all students and staff are safe. The school resumed normal dismissal at 2:50 p.m. Goliad High School evacuated today due to what the Goliad ISD called, quote, a threat that manifested outside our country, unquote. Goliad ISD said a threat does not exist in the high school building. School resumed at normal and all students and staff are secure. Monday around 10:20 p.m., Victoria police arrested 37-year-old Angel Martinez on charges of assault. He's accused of assaulting a 74-year-old man in the 3000 block of East Red River Street. Police say Martinez also had an outstanding warrant for possession of drug paraphernalia. The man accused of sexually assaulting and strangling an 11-year-old Pasadena girl being returned now to the Houston area. KPRC reports Juan Carlos Garcia Rodriguez taken into custody in Shreveport, where he has been held since his capture. Local law enforcement transferred custody to the Pasadena Police Department Wednesday, and the suspect being extradited to Texas to face a capital murder charge in the death of Maria Gonzalez. Authorities say a Seguin Elementary School student fired a gun into the back of a seat as students rode to school. While no one was hurt, the incident caused alarm and now raises some serious questions.
I heard a big shot and everybody started going to the back because he said, and my friend said it was a magazine.
Isaac Perez didn't know exactly what was happening when there was a loud bang in front of his bus this morning.
I was just scared. That's what I was thinking.
But it turns out a student fired a shot into the back of a seat as the bus pulled into Jefferson Elementary. The bus driver quickly took the gun away and the student was taken off campus. Police say that student won't face charges, but the parents could.
Looking at anything from making a firearm accessible to a child to child endangerment, so your range could be anywhere from a Class C to a state jail felony.
Meanwhile, the school district could be changing policies after the incident. Even Isaac is asking for clear backpacks.
There should be some clear backpacks to make sure there's no dangerous stuff on it.
And now the school district is considering it for elementary school campuses.
We had eliminated the requirement at elementary when we had first made that decision. But I think it is something that we are going to strongly consider moving forward.
The district will now be providing counseling to students and their families, but the superintendent is also pleading with parents to keep their guns locked up.
My request and plea to parents everywhere is to keep your guns, all forms of weapons, locked away and safe from children.
El Campo volunteer fire department crews did not just fight a grain warehouse blaze last Thursday. The El Campo Leader News reports they also put out 2 vehicle fires, assorted grass fires, checked concerns over another possible structure fire, and assisted medics at 2 vehicle crashes. The volunteers faced triple-digit heat with temperatures in the 110-degree plus range. And here we go again. Now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac, it's feeling once again as hot as it was before the tropical storm.
I hope you enjoyed the little break that we got there for, 2 days, because it's over. All the remnants of Harold are out here in the southwest. We had a couple of little pretty clouds out there, but guess what? That's going away. And the humidity is going to be in the millions. We'll be talking more about what to expect for the rest of the week coming up in a moment. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. A Victoria businessman is the latest addition to a statewide school funding board. Governor Greg Abbott appointed Cliff Thomas to the Permanent School Fund Corporation Board of Directors. The board manages the investment of the multi-billion-dollar fund. It's a major source of support for Texas public schools. Thomas is the owner and chairman of the board of Pilot Thomas Logistics and founder of Speedy Stop Food Stores and C.L. Thomas Incorporated. Come to CrossroadsToday.com to learn more about this appointment. A battle over buoys in the Rio Grande moved from the border to a courthouse. The Department of Justice challenging Governor Abbott's authorization to put the buoys in the river to stop migrant crossings.
In some disagreements, compromise comes in the middle. But along the southern border, where Texas installed these buoys meant to deter migrants, middle ground may prove hard to find.
There were allegations, which I don't know if they were true or not, but allegations that the buoys had drifted toward the Mexico side.
The Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against Texas and its Republican governor, calling for the removal of the floating wall, arguing it was placed without federal authorization, and later saying a survey found about 787 of the 995 feet of buoys were in Mexico. Monday, as Abbott led Republican governors to the border, he said the buoys have now been repositioned.
Texas went back and moved the buoys into a location where it is clear that they are on the United States side, not on the Mexico side.
The buoys split opinions as sharply as they divide the water.
The buoys are a deterrent. They don't cause a Band-Aid, and if they do, I say, what the heck, stay on your side of the river.
1,000 feet of buoys, well, it may not seem like a lot to those of you out there in the public listening. The fact is, it pushes people into the deep water.
In a federal court injunction hearing Tuesday, U.S. District Judge David Ezra asked for written closing arguments by the end of the week so he can rule on whether to order Texas to remove the buoys. He said he would make a decision as quickly as he can. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
The lineup for the first Republican presidential debate of the 2024 campaign is set. In Milwaukee, Republican presidential candidates will debate on the national stage without party frontrunner, former President Trump. All 8 candidates met the Republican National Committee's criteria for the debate, including former Vice President Mike Pence and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Also, Governor Doug Burgum will compete, or vie actually, in the debate tonight, even though yesterday while playing basketball he tore his Achilles tendon. All right, here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. And here is the question. Do you plan on watching the first 2024 Republican primary debate tonight? Yes or no? Just in case, I wrote down the numbers. So the votes so far, no, 31%, and yes, 69%. We thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have an update on what you and your neighbors are saying on 25 News Now at 10. Here's some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. Former Calhoun County Judge Michael Pfeiffer died from cancer complications Monday. He served as a judge from 2002 to 2018. The Calhoun County ISD Board of Trustees approved the extension of the superintendent's contract during a meeting on August 14th, and Port Lavaca Clinic received a certificate of excellence after an inspection. You can read these stories and more at the PortLavacaWave.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. A woman in San Antonio gets the shock of her life while she's driving. Also ahead, we're not even at the peak of hurricane season, and FEMA is short of funding. Now, the viewer poll this evening, scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question once again, do you plan on watching the first 2024 Republican primary debate tonight? Yes or no? Let's look at those numbers. 32% of the voters said yes and 68% said no. All right, we thank you for voting. We want to hear from you, and come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. We'll have an update on what you and your neighbors are saying on 25 News now at 10. A San Antonio woman shaken after a spear crashed through her windshield while she was driving. The woman says the spear narrowly missed her. She believes someone intentionally hurled it at her car.
It was a pretty scary event. I was not expecting that.
She never saw it coming, but that frightening surprise came close to causing Siobhan Canales some major harm.
It came in right here, so the spear handle was probably sticking out about that much.
You heard that right. It was a spear that crashed through her windshield after 9 last night, lodging inches from where she was sitting.
Right in this area. It didn't pop anything.
Canales shared video she recorded as San Antonio police came to collect it, a 5-foot-long hunting tool.
Yeah. Whoa.
She says she was on her way to a friend's house at the time, passing through the area near FM 1516 and I-10, just outside Converse. Out of nowhere, her car was hit. Canales said she had just made her way through this turnaround area when all of a sudden her window exploded. She has no idea where that spear came from.
It was not, road rage or anything. This was unprovoked and just completely random.
Why someone would do that is a question that so far no one can answer.
I think they're trying to intentionally hurt somebody. I'm just thankful to be alive because, I have kids.
The unexpected attack, though, wasn't exactly pain-free. Canales says it will cost her about $400 to make repairs.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Cuero Record. The Cuero City Council approved a new tax rate. Texas A&M honoring 2 Cuero philanthropists. And there's a new publisher of the Cuero Record and Yorktown News View. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. FEMA's disaster fund running out of money in a year that's already setting records for weather disasters.
We know that we have enough money to continue to support the ongoing life-saving efforts.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell says the agency's disaster fund is running out of money amid growing concern the funding could lapse if Congress doesn't pass a spending bill, a FEMA official told CNN.
As we do our analysis and we make our reports to Congress monthly, we take into account situations just like this so we can make sure that we always have enough funding.
However, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has indicated he expects Congress will approve more funding for FEMA.
We'll be authorizing in the same bill, in all likelihood, considerable increase for FEMA.
It comes as the agency pushes forward with the response to Maui's devastating wildfires in a year that's setting records for billion-dollar weather disasters before the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season has even arrived, and as hurricane and tropical storm activity is already causing damage. Tropical Depression Harold plowing through Texas after making landfall as a tropical storm Tuesday morning. The storm pummeling the state with high winds, heavy rain, flooding, and tornado warnings as it pushes towards Mexico. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
And of course, we're right in the middle of the hurricane season. So, for the next 2 weeks, I think we're going to be okay, but the Atlantic is still very busy. Well, today we had a few little nice clouds out there during the day, but that's going to be going away. Well, actually, no, they're going to stick around. Problem is the temperatures are going to be rising. Right now it's 95, we got up to 98, and we'll be into the hundreds, and the humidity will be in the millions. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back, everybody. I forgot to tell you the rainfall in the month so far for the entire month of August has been 0.30. That's all related to Harold, but Harold's gone, so probably no more rain. Well, I don't know. Well, we're talking about that. But that brings the year up to 20.24, and that's 5.3 below our actual rainfall, our average rainfall. So the viewer poll question here is, why do you think Texas gets so hot in the summer? Okay. Longer daylights? Well, that's a possibility. Gulf proximity? Well, that's a good possibility. Extreme pressure? Well, that's a real good possibility this year. Less vegetation? Well, that's one. And little cloud cover. Well, we didn't have any cloud cover and we had no moisture there for some time, but go on to Crossroads today and you vote your opinion there, right about there. Well, let's go with the maps because the temperatures are going to be back into the hundreds. We had, I expected that we'd see a little bit more cloud cover and rainfall today, but we didn't get much in our area. It was all basically in the southwest along the Rio Grande, right about there. Those are the remnants or the leftovers from Harold. Temperatures, however, start getting a little warmer now. 98 for us, 102 in Gonzales. And you can see how the remnants and the humidity from the storm actually held down the temperatures. Humid air is harder to warm up. In other words, it'll get hot and humid, but it won't get into the hundreds like it does out in the desert Southwest where it's so much drier. Well, tomorrow we're looking at 100 for us, maybe 102, 105 forecast in Houston. Can you believe it? But then again, it's the dome. It's the dome. It's the dome. You can see how the heat wave goes all the way up. 101 up in Nebraska today, 92 in Green Bay, Wisconsin, 91 in Chicago, and you can see the domes going all the way down. So while you're thinking, well, it's all us, no, it's pretty much the whole country right about now. And so we watch and wait for, less sunshine. That would be good. Shorter days, that would help. Heat advisories are up for tonight, but they'll also be up for tomorrow and as we go into the weekend. And you can see right here, heat advisories from Minneapolis all the way to New Orleans. It is a tough one. And you know what? This is now going officially into the dog days of summer as we go to the end of August and the first 2 weeks of September for the peak of the heat. And that's when it happens generally. So now we go to the Atlantic. This is the Dominican Republic. They had Franklin go right over them today. They're having all kinds of problems right now with flooding and heavy rainfall, but the storm is now on the north side of the island and should be moving out into the Atlantic. No major problems as far as the U.S. is concerned, as Franklin would stay out there. Then we have Gert over here. Gert's not much of a storm, and then they have an invest area right about here that we're watching very carefully. But this is the peak of the storm season of tropical storms, because September 10th, I believe, is the top, and then it starts to decrease. Now, the dome is actually gone away for a couple of days, but guess what? It's coming back. It's coming back. We'll be looking at 100 tomorrow in Port Lavaca. We'll be looking at 100 in Cuero, and all of us will be dealing with heat and quite a bit of humidity over the next few days. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code, and we'd love for you to scan that and put it on your phone. Here's Don.
Thank you, Max. Sports Director Gino Perez is here with some more national champions.
Yep. Chad Ganaway does it again at full force as another national champion comes back with the gold. We hear from him in sports. At a Crossroads, the Victoria Gators are preparing for its game tomorrow with a pep rally. The first-year program got into the spirit with a little dancing, cheering, and motivational speeches. The team was joined by family, friends, and other students. The celebration took place at the Crossroads Christian School. The Gators are a new program that began back in March, and the Gators head football coach Mark Chavez says his team has put in the work in this hot weather and can't wait to get on the field tomorrow against the Brooks Academy Bears.
You know, we're pretty excited about it. I think we match up well against this team. We're excited to show what we have. We've been through a couple scrimmages already. We've kind of got the boys where we want them as far as conditioning goes and as far as placement goes. With the Bears, we kind of run a little bit of a sweep offense side to side. They got a couple of fast guys on defense, and so we're really looking forward to matching up well against them.
The Gators have 15 athletes on the team and will look to both of them to get away from all of them as they come up in the big game tomorrow.
It's cool because this is our first year, so we're going to be making something, we're starting something with the Gators. I'm most excited for the competition and to be able to compete against a decent team.
The Gators will have a fundraiser Saturday to help with travel and other expenses at Atzenhofer dealership at 11 o'clock in the morning. Local gymnasts competed at the Stars and Stripes National Championship competition held in Florida, and another gymnast returns with the gold. The national champion in double mini is River Taylor, who has only been competing for 8 months. He also took fourth in trampoline. Multiple other athletes made the podium, including Finn Clay with a silver, Rhett Branch brings home the bronze, and Allie Bauman with the bronze as well. The medalists give their thoughts on winning a medal, including the national champion, who only had one word to say.
I was nervous that I wasn't going to do well because I didn't think I was sharp enough, and I was really excited whenever I heard I was going to get third. I was nervous but happy at the same time. I don't know, I was just scared. It was really fun. I was a little bit nervous, but when I got second, I was really happy. Excited.
Competed were Corey Weinheimer and Elizabeth Creamer, who finished in the top 10 in their respective competitions. The St. Joseph Lady Flyers faced off against the team in the Columbus Cardinals that was ranked. The number 9 ranked Cardinals came to play and swept the Lady Flyers in 3 sets. The first set was a blowout with St. Joe losing 25-11, but the next 2 sets were competitive with an identical score of 25-21 in both sets. The Lady Flyers stat leaders were Addison Azuna with 15 kills and 3 blocks. Morgan Kornick had 23 assists, and Isabella Lyons and Anna Miori both had 6 digs. Earlier today, the Needville Little League baseball team gets its 8th win in a row, and this one coming against Washington in a game that went 9 innings. Texas made a spectacular play at the end to send the game to the U.S. championship, or send the team to the U.S. championship game. They will either play Tennessee, California, or Washington again Saturday at 2:30. Well, that's your sports. Don, back to you.
And that game will be on this very station Saturday afternoon. All right, Gino, thank you. We're back in a moment. There's a baby boom this month going on in one Michigan county. month in one department at Munson Medical Center in Michigan has been a busy one. 119 babies have been born at that hospital since August 1st. August typically a busy month for births at that hospital. They blame it on the end of deer camp or early December storms. That's what they say. Anyway, the hospital says they have the space and the staff to handle the number of babies and families they are seeing. 119 babies in just over 3 weeks. Look at those people. And they don't look so tired. They're happy and smiling, but you know they've been busy all month.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
So
Wow.
now that we're going into football season, it should get quieter now, don't you think?
Well,
I don't know about that. If you go to a stadium, the decibels may raise up a bit.
Okay.
I'm sure like their households
Don't have
too.
an answer for you on that, Matt.
Okay.
Let's go to the radar.
Just thinking, just wondering. It was a thought. Hey, folks, we're getting back to the heat and the humidity, looking at 100-degree temperatures through the rest of the weekend, and early next week, and probably until September. And hopefully by then we'll have less sunlight and less warmth, but also quite humid. So take it easy over the weekend.
All right. Thanks, Mac, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.